Hi, Rob.
All right.
You?
I'm all right, thanks. Yeah, how are you?
Right. Been for a run.
Good. Get it done?
Got to get it done. Nothing else to do, is
Nope.
it?
Nothing at all.
Here we go. The flooding in, mate.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Here we go. Eh?
All right.
So, like I said, we'll let everyone join in, and then we'll sort of run through how we're going to try and run this, but these things always go different to how you sort of see them, but that's fine. So we'll wait 2 minutes for everyone, and then we'll go. Okay. As we sort of go through this, the ones that have given me questions for Rob, if you want to ask them, just give me a little thumb up or a little wave beforehand, and then you can do. If you don't want to, that's fine. I've got them listed in front of me, so I can do it for you. Either way is fine. Okay. If you think of one halfway through, just write it in a little chat. Okay, and then we can get to it if we can. Several people have sent me like a couple of questions, so we'll try and do like one each, and if we have more time to go back round again, we'll do that. Okay, rather than giving someone 2 or 3 and no one else getting one. Fair enough? Yeah, cool. First of all, I mean, thanks to Rob for giving up his time this afternoon. Much appreciated.
No worries.
So who's not met Rob before then? So there's a couple more coming in first. There you go, Rob. Not everyone knows you, Rob.
A couple of hands up, I know.
Yeah.
A couple of hands up there. I think there's a lot of hands up there.
There's more than I thought.
Yeah. I haven't been around for a while, have I? So that's probably why.
True, mate. So we've got a range here from some under 9s up to some under 16s. So some will, some won't.
Yep.
And it's the ones that are under 16s, the ones that are always late that are coming in now, which is always the way.
Probably still in bed.
Yeah, probably.
Just getting up now.
Right, I reckon we'll go at that. Okay, so before what we're going to do, the idea of this is just to get you guys so an introduction to Rob in general. Just so those that have not met Rob before, you get a chance to meet him, and just a background about Rob. And Rob's been at Toff since what, 13 or 14, I reckon.
Yeah,
it's been
11 years.
Yeah, quite a long time that. So it came as part of into our senior setup at a young age, and then sort of progressed through, and as to where he is now, still plays for us when he can. Didn't get much chance last year because of all the restrictions, but yeah, it's always great when we get Rob back at the club. So I thought it'd be a great opportunity for you guys to meet him and ask a couple of questions about how he goes about things now, how he went about things when he was your age, etc. So I think the best way for us to do this is just sort of dive into it. Let's not hang around too much. So first on my list is Mr. Arthur Hamilton. So Arthur, would you like to unmute yourself? If you unless you want to ask, or do you want me to do it? Me? Do you want me to do it? Right. Okay. Arthur's question first up. How much do you train each day? Is his first question, Rob.
How much do I train each day?
Yeah, I suppose how does that vary then from, I don't know, winter to summer? Yeah, how much? What does a normal training day look like?
Yeah, good question. Just before, lovely to meet everyone. I know it's pretty tough at the moment. Everyone wants to play some cricket, but pleasure to be on Jimmy's sort of podcast, sort of, I don't know what you want to call it, Q&A. So hope everyone's all right. And obviously it's pretty tough, but I'm sure you all want to play some cricket and get out there and bat and bowl in the winter nets or wherever it is. But how much should we train each day? Currently, quite a bit. So we're 5 days a week. We've got 3 cricket sessions, which is 2 hours Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. So 3 2-hour cricket sessions, and fitness gym every day. So running twice a week, and then gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So at the moment it's quite a lot, just with pre-season. Obviously, we're heading into the season, which is April time. So we want to be as fit as we can. We want to be as prepared as we can. So it does die off during the season. Obviously, you don't train as much because you're playing. Here and there, you just got to keep on top of your fitness, keep just almost ticking over a little bit, and then you tend to play more than you do train. You know, it's more just ticking the boxes and just getting yourself prepared to play all the time. So winter training is slightly different to summer training. At the moment, it's more technically based, a little bit what you need to focus on, what you need to work on for the up and coming season. And during the season, it's more about getting prepared mentally, game ready, looking to perform. I think obviously there's two different types of training there. So yeah, at the moment it's pretty busy, pretty full on, but I'm quite lucky in the sense that I can do that, which is great. So not many people can. Yeah.
Very, very true, mate. Yeah, very true. Okay, good question, Arthur. Very good start. All right, so your older brother George is up next. George, do you want to ask your one? Do you want me to do it? You going to do it or me? Right. Okay. So George asked, quite a good question actually. So it's very well written. Have you written this or? So please describe your path from Toff CC up to professional cricket. That's quite long-winded, I suppose. A summary of how it came about.
Yeah, great question. Cheers, George. That's very good. Very good question. That. I basically started with my dad at Oakmere. I'll give you a little run through. I started with my dad at Oakmere, played senior cricket with him. I played senior cricket when I was 11. So I was introduced to it quite early, I think. And I personally think that was a good thing. It stood me in very good stead. I played against men ever since being a boy. So you face quicker bowlers. You have to bowl at batters that are going to hit you out of the park as men do. So I think that stood me in really good stead growing up. I went to Toft. Toby Drummond contacted me and I went to Toft at 15. Like I say, playing Premier League cricket at 15 was a massive stepping stone for me. I think grew me up from a boy into a man very quickly. You got to learn, you got to adapt to perform at Premier League standard. I remember my first game against Nantwich for Toff, first team game, and I bowled 22 overs and got spanked everywhere. I think I got 3 for 100, and it makes you learn pretty quickly. So, and yeah, I've been there ever since. I've been there 11 years now. Time has flown a little bit, really, but from that 15, I was captain of North England at Bunbury Festival. I progressed then to play through the England setup from 15 to 19 and played in the World Cup in Dubai, which was an amazing achievement for me. Playing for your country, no matter what age, is quite special. I've still got my cap now, which is really nice. Obviously, I'd love to play for a full England senior team, but obviously I haven't done that. But still representing yourself at junior level is really nice, which is great. And then, yeah, ever since then, I was on a scholarship for a couple of years at Lancs from 18 to 20, and I've been on staff now for 6 years, sorry. And yeah, it's the journey sort of progressed, and every level you've gone to, every opportunity that I've had, whether it's club cricket or county cricket, I've sort of taken, and hopefully it continues, whether in the future. So it's been a bit of a long journey, like any professional sportsman's journey is long, and it doesn't come without hard work. So, but I think Toft certainly gave me a stepping stone to be sort of the player I am today. Just having that exposure to senior cricket from such a young age which especially Premier League cricket was a massive thing, and it just makes you grow up and makes you play against men, which you have to adapt and you have to learn pretty quickly, because if not, you won't perform. If that all makes sense, quite long-winded, but
no, perfect, mate. Yeah, perfect. Right, so I think next question from Sean, who always has his camera off, so I presume he won't ask it, so I'll do it for him, which actually sort of ties in well with what we've just asked there. So thanks for that question, George. Sean says, how do you then adjust between playing county cricket and then coming back and playing club cricket and then going back to play county cricket again? Because I suppose we've had in the past where you played Friday night at Old Trafford under the lights, come and played at Toft on a Saturday, and then been away on a 4-day game on a Sunday again. How does that sort of work, going between the two levels, I suppose?
That's a Really, really good question. I think no matter what level you play, or what situation you're in, or what type of game you're playing, or like you say, what level you're playing, I think the ability to adapt to any situation, I think that makes you a better player than others. Instead of turning up to a club game and thinking that you're going to go in there, dominate, and you're going to, I suppose, take the mickey out of the opposition, or you're going to go in there and, even though you feel confident as a player and you feel like you are good enough to do that, I think it's really important to keep your feet on the ground and take, even when you're batting, just one ball at a time and just play what you see, because you only can bowl what's in front of you. So I think it's whether it's playing against Nantwich on a Saturday or you're facing Stephen Finn on a Monday, it doesn't matter. It's about just adapting to the situation and just playing what's right in front of you and being in that present moment where you can just play what you see, because it might be on a Saturday and you're playing against Nantwich, and you could become very lackadaisy and play a daft shot, and you're actually putting your teammates under more pressure by you getting out, because ultimately you're there. Sometimes it's a little bit more pressure because you are the pro and you're coming in back into the side, and people expect you to do well and people expect you to score runs. So there's that pressure as well, being in a club environment. So no matter what situation you're in or who you're playing against, I think it's really important just to take one ball at a time, whether you're bowling or batting, and just bowl your best ball if you can, hit top of off. Or if you're batting, just take one ball at a time and play what you see. If it's a half volley, hit it. If it's a good ball, block it. If it's a short ball, whack it. So I think as being as simple as that is, like I say, adapting to the situation is crucial, I think, no matter what level you're playing at.
Good. I think that's a good, great message for all the boys as well, that you're going to play against some teams that you might think you're better against, some teams that are much harder to play against, but it doesn't matter. Whatever situation you're in, it's you just face whatever's in front of you. And that's quite a good message, that, Rob. Right, okay, so slightly different one. So Ed Lovett, wherever he is, where are you? Are you asking, or do you want to ask? Go on then. Right, you've given me two, so pick one of them. Fire away.
Where was your least favourite ground to play at, and why?
Least favourite?
Least favourite. Oh gosh. I've got quite a few. Oh God. I've never had runs at Worcester. It's a New Road. I've played there 4 times and I don't think I scored over 10. So I don't like New Road, Worcester. Club cricket. I don't know really. I'm not a big fan of playing at Cheadle. The wicket's never good. It's never flat there. So that's probably why. Yeah.
Lovely. All right. Mr. Joe Royal. Here we go. Are you up? Here he is. Go on, fire away, bud.
What tips do you have for a 10-year-old right-handed leg spinner?
Whoa, great question, Joe. I would say to you, spin it as hard as you can. At your age, make sure you spin it as much as you can. And a slight little technical, maybe, tip might be just drive your energy towards the target. Just keep all your energy going towards the target, wherever you want to bowl, and make sure you spin it as much as you can. That's what my top tip would be for you. And at the moment, don't worry about control or where the ball's going. Just make sure your energy's going the right direction and spin it as much as you can. I think that's really important for you. Is that good?
Fair enough, Joe.
Thank you.
I think there's quite a few that could sort of take that note. We've got quite a few young spinners or young bowlers in general. I think that theme sort of carries across. If we're doing anything bowling wise at a young age, it's trying to get everything going towards our target, which is very good. And it's good to see that message carries on the whole way through, I think. Right, Mr. Colclough. We'll go senior Colclough first. Seb, are you up, or do you want me to do it?
Can you do it?
Of course I can, mate. Right, so Seb asks, who's the best bowler you faced? We'll just go county cricket because these guys won't know any club cricket. So we'll go. Who's the best bowler you face at county cricket?
Great question again. Best bowler at county cricket. Oh gosh. Probably Stephen Finn was up there. Hopefully a few of you know Stephen Finn. I've faced Craig Overton. He was really up there. He was pretty tricky. He swung it at pace. About 85, he really did swing it. I think them two, the bowlers that I remember facing Stuart Meeker on my debut, and he must have, I don't know if it was 90 mile an hour, but it felt like that. Maybe because I was on my debut and I was pretty hyped up, and it was at the Oval, and it was a good quick wicket. I think I just felt like it was very fast, but skill wise, I think Craig Overton's probably the best bowler I've faced, and he didn't really give me anything. He was very skillful. He didn't miss his mark, and obviously he's played for England, and I think it was really, really tricky because he's tall, and he had bounce, and he had pace, and he swung it. So I think bowlers like that are always very, very tricky to face. Having said that, you've got your slower medium paces, like, I don't know if anyone's heard of Tim Murtagh, but he's very wily and he bowls 70 mile an hour little away swingers, and the difference is obviously pace. So you've got to adjust your game a little bit to play them sort of bowlers. Like you say, that adaptability to try and play a quick bowler and a bit of a slower medium pacer is quite high. You have to try and adapt your game. So yeah, it's probably the best bowler I faced is Craig Overton.
I suppose then, sort of from playing against him, and then there'll be quite a few guys that'll know Jimmy Anderson, and obviously the same county as you. What's he like in the nets? How skillful is he?
Oh, I can't. I think I remember we played a game at Old Trafford against Somerset, and he was bowling at Marcus Trescothick. A few might not know Marcus Trescothick, but a bit before your time, and he bowled an over at him, and I was fielding at point, and it was the best over, and it will stick in my mind for a long, long time. The skill that he showed during that over was phenomenal. It was in a way, wobble seam in a way, and then nicked him off last ball of the over, and it was the way he set him up. And obviously Marcus Trescothick's an absolute fantastic batter. He has been for county cricket, he has been for England. It was unbelievable. And I played a lot with Jimmy in 2019. It was incredible. Stood at gully, stood at third slip, fourth slip against him, taking a couple of catches for him. And I don't think you can appreciate until you're there, watching him from the other end, how skillful he is and how much control he has. And as well as being a great person, a great bloke, he's a phenomenal cricketer. I can't, words don't put it into describe it how good he is. Just his control, his ability to swing it both ways and have it hitting top of off pretty much every ball is incredible. So, and don't get me wrong, he's had his challenges. I'm sure he'll be the first one to admit that he struggled when he was younger, but he's worked so hard at his game, and he still does that, and he's an absolute badger. He probably doesn't come across that, but he is. So he's an unbelievable cricketer. So yeah, that's what I'd say.
There you go, Charlie. So right, Charlie, what's your question?
What's your highest number of runs?
Mine? Oh, great question. I had a 254 against Gloucester. That was a second team game. That's my highest score that I've ever got. It's 254. That answers your question.
Quite a few. And then what's it for top? What, 160?
165 for top. Yeah.
Remember that? I've got the video of that. Wait at Chester, that wasn't it?
Yeah. That was a good day.
Okay. Mr. Nolan, stepping up. Do you want me to do it or you up? I'll do it. Okay. So Tom asked one before that was kind of already been answered. I suppose his other question is, do you play any other sports, or what else do you do other than cricket, sporting wise?
No, that's really good as well, especially for young kids. I think it's brilliant I would totally encourage you to play as many sports as you can. develops that robustness in your body. If you play football, it strengthens different areas of your body. It develops coordination. I think it's so important that if you do, like, it is so important to play different sports. I personally used to play rugby. I played football as a kid, like any kid does. Played a bit of hockey. I just threw myself into everything, whether it was at school or just outside of school. I think it was really apparent to me that I loved playing sport, and I love running now. I get out running as much as I can. I love biking, and obviously they're not coordinated sports, but I think obviously there's a lot of youngsters here. I think I'd encourage you to play as many sports as you can to improve that coordination and just enjoy it, because at the end of the day, cricket is a great game, but you might be good at something else. You don't know. You just got to explore that. And if you're a good hockey player, explore being a good hockey player. If you like playing rugby, go and play rugby. I would, like I say, encourage as much as you can. Just go out there and do it, because I think it develops a whole range of different skills, as well as develops you as a person as well. If you get knocked on the head or if you get injured playing rugby, you got to toughen up and you got to crack on. And I think it develops that sort of character and develops that side of your personality as well. So, yeah, great question.
Question, Tom. All right, Mr. Coulshaw, where are you?
What was your biggest injury and how did you recover?
Oh, biggest injury.
Not many, have you?
No, touch wood.
Everyone, please.
Yeah, I think I actually got a bad injury playing rugby. I had a bad shoulder. I was 6 weeks off and just did some rehab and made sure I saw a physio, and I just did everything that the physio tells you. And you feel like sometimes you might get injured. It's different being a young lad. You can sort of get where we're playing with niggles and stuff, but you get older, I think rest becomes more important, and you've got to look after yourself a little bit more regarding that rest wise. I think you just got to listen to what the physio says, because they're ultimately, they know what they're doing, and you might come back early and you might do it twice as bad, or you might do it twice as hard. So I think, like you say, give yourself as much rest as you can, and then when you feel ready, you can go in there and attack it, and you don't worry about your injuries when you're actually playing, because you don't want to. The worst thing you can do is come back early and do it again.
Really agree. All right, we've got nice question, Patrick. We've got 2 questions from the closest. So we'll go Archie first. And with him being camera off, I'll do it for him. Shy
Okay.
these older ones. Right, so Archie asks, what mental or psychological top tips does he have for any top order batsman going through a bad run of form or sometimes luck, and how can they help turn it around? So we've all been there.
Yeah. I've been there plenty of times. Yeah. I think I experienced that last summer. Obviously lockdown happened. I just couldn't get it together. Really struggled. Top tip. I think for me, I've really sat down and thought about this winter what I need to do to make myself prepared for the up and coming season. I think for me, it's more focusing mentally about what I need to do and how do I get myself in the best possible state to perform. And whether you are going through a bad run or not, I think sit down and think or have a really good think about what is it? Is it, you might not know what it is because it might be technically and you don't really understand your own technique. And a lot of people don't realize what they're doing wrong. And I think watching video analysis of yourself when you were playing well, if you've got any, if you video yourself when you were playing well in the nets or whatever, go back and revisit that. I think looking at yourself when you were playing well is really, really important, because you might just, one thing might just trigger in your mind and say, oh, actually, yeah, I was doing that when I was batting well. And then video yourself when you're batting now and you might not be doing it. So there might be a little correlation there to think, well, when I'm playing well, I do this. When I'm not, I don't do that. So, and I would always encourage you to write things down. As young cricketers, if you've had a really good net session, write it down, make some notes, really highlight what you've done well. Like, oh, I felt brilliant today. My balance was great. Oh, I hit the middle of the bat loads. Or I played the ball off my legs really well, because when you do go through that bad run of form, you can revisit your little notebook and you say, well, this is what I did when I really played well. And then all of a sudden it can take one net session. And it happened to me the other day, last week. I snicked off 3 times in 8 balls, and I punished myself every time I got out. I ran 2 laps around the cricket centre, and after that it switched me on, and I think that was the best session I've ever had, because I worked it out for myself, and the bowlers came really hard at me, and it was really challenging net, which was great. And I think I wrote a lot of stuff down that night, and I think if it ever comes to having a bad run of form, or you're feeling not quite yourself when you're batting, I think it's really important to revisit that notepad and say, well, actually I did this really well, so I'm going to try that next time I bat. And I think that for me would be my top tip, is just keep writing things down. As if you do have a bad net, write down what you felt like you could improve, and then you recognize it for the next time you go into the nets with your coach or with Jimmy or whoever it is, you can, or if you go into a game. So I think that sort of top tip for me would sort of work for the best, I think, for I don't know. I think that's what
mate. That's class. That's class. We had a session with Mark opening up about was it about a month ago, and he talks about a similar thing, didn't he? He said, write things down, whether it's like 3 things you've done well that day or 3 things you've done well that net session, 2 things you can improve on. And that's something that I know I'm going to try and do more of this summer and in general. So I think that's a really good thing for you all to try and do. You might feel like a bit silly to start with it, but I think, like Rob says, it's a really good tip to try and just try it, and just it's something to go back to. And there's, like Rob said, when things aren't going as well, it's always good to have something to go back to that might just reset your focus, and you'd be amazed how quick you can turn it around. So, next question from John, from Closest Senior. So from John was, when you scored your maiden century for Lancs, what was going through your mind in the nervous 90s? And I loved your celebration, by the way. That's what he's gone for.
I think the people that know me, obviously Jimmy knows me. He's known me for a long time. I'm quite a passionate, emotional fella. I can't help it. I can't contain myself when I do well. And I think what was going through my mind, I can't remember, to be honest. I know I was on 94 and I hit a 6, and that's pretty much all I remember. And I went berserk. So I think, like you said, I've scored a fair few hundreds, and the feeling of being in the 90s never goes away. I just think, try not to look at the scoreboard. Like I said before, it's 1 ball at a time. And if you feel like you can score off that ball, if it's a half volley, just go and put it away. Don't because you're in the 90s think, oh, I've got to tip and run here. Or if you feel like it's in your area, just go out there and hit it. So, like you say, you've got yourself to 90. Why change what you're doing when you've got 10 runs away? It is just a number at the end of the day. I know it's a bit of a milestone and everyone wants to get 100, but don't change your game plan. Don't change the way you've been playing. Go out there and just do what you've been doing, because if you do that, then you're not going to be far away. So, like I say, 1 ball at a time. Whether you're on 5, or whether you're on 45, or you're on 85 or 95, I think it's really important just to carry on where you're playing, 1 ball at a time, and then when you do get to 100, go mad, because it doesn't happen very often. Just enjoy your success, because I would really encourage that. Just really enjoy your own success, because you work hard for it. Well, no matter what level you play at, 100's 100 at the end of the day. So really enjoy your own success.
Mate, I love that. I remember away at Grappenhall the first time you got 6 for when you won the game. I can't remember you got out to win the game, but I think you went off on a full lap. I think you were still 14 to 15. You couldn't catch it. It was great. No. And those that haven't seen Rob's first 100, I would try and find that on YouTube if you can, because his celebration is unbelievable. And I want to see that from everyone during the summer. All right. I can't find him on here. I can't see where Charlie Corns is. But if he is here, I apologise. But Charlie says, so when did you start playing? You sort of answered that before. But then how much did you practice as a kid?
I don't think I would call it a practice, because I just enjoyed doing it. And you probably, because you enjoy it, you don't realise that you're practicing at the same time. So therefore, you probably don't recognise it as practice, if that makes sense, because it's just, if your dad's playing on a Saturday, it's down at the nets, and it's just in the nets. Just every opportunity you get a bat and ball, pick it up, whether you're shadow batting or whether you're, I don't know, you just go down to the nets with your dad. It's as much or as little as you want it to be. For me, it was a lot because I really enjoyed doing it. I would just encourage you to keep practicing and just keep enjoying it as much as you can, because I've sometimes forgot the enjoyment side of the game, because sometimes you see it as a job and you're under pressure to pay for a mortgage, so you sometimes lose sight of the enjoyment side of the game. But I think that really has struck home with me this winter, to go out there and really enjoy it, because it's not going to last forever, and you've just got to make hay while the sun shines, and like you say, really enjoy the good times that you have, and practice as much as you want, practice as little as you want, but it's entirely up to you. I would encourage you to get out there and do as much as you can with your old man or with your mates. Just go out to the nets and just experiment, try, explore, fail, learn, go back again the next day. Just keep doing it.
Yeah, completely agree. Just play. Just go and play.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's
All
the only
right,
way you get
Hamilton.
better.
Exactly right, mate. All right, Ollie, Ham, do you want to go first?
What do you prefer facing, fast off spin or leg spin?
I suppose it depends really, Ollie. I like facing quick bowlers because the ball comes onto the bat and you don't have to do as much, as in hit the ball as hard, because it comes onto the bat. You can use the pace a little bit. Facing leg spin, it's a different kettle of fish altogether. You have to pick the bowler. If he's got a googly, you might have to pick him. I think it just depends on. I feel like I'm a good player of spin, so I don't mind facing spin at all, which is great. I obviously face top order batter. You face a lot of pace bowling, so you've got to get used to facing up quick bowling. I think I don't mind facing. Answer your question. I don't mind facing whatever comes down. You just got to go out there and play against it. So, yeah, that makes sense.
Well, right, Ed, your question was sort of asked before, but do you want to go anyway? Do you want to have a go?
Yeah, I have another. So, how old were you when you got into Lancashire?
I was 14 when I got onto the academy, and I've been there ever since. So I was on the academy for 3 or 4 years, signed a scholarship for a couple of years, and then been on staff for 6 years. So altogether, I've been about 11 years. I've been on at Lancashire. So time flies. Yeah.
All right, Butters. Yeah, I think so. Butters, you're up. Between the two of you.
It's from both of us.
Go on.
It was ever since you were a boy, have you always wanted to play cricket, or did you have other sports that you played alongside cricket when you were younger?
Yeah, a great question. I think, like I said before, it's really important to play other sports, play as many as you can. I actually had a poster at the end of my bed where I wrote on a piece of paper, and it was at the end of my bed, and it was on the wall, and I stuck it on the wall with blue tack, and it said all I wrote on this piece of paper was, I want to be a professional cricketer, or I will be a professional cricketer, something like that. And I think I woke up every morning, and whatever I was doing, whether you're doing a fitness session or going to the nets, and sometimes you might feel that you don't want to do it, or you're like, oh God, this can be a tough session, or I think you can look at that and think, well, actually, the reason why I'm doing it is because I want to get to where I want to get to. So I think that was always my goal, and it was always from a young age I wanted to be a professional cricketer. I was a decent rugby player. I was never going to make it as a professional. I was an okay footballer. I was too fat and slow as a kid, but as a cricketer, I had a chance to make it as a cricketer, and I think with the talent that I have, it's not obviously the greatest talent in the world, but I've worked hard at it, and hopefully it can continue. But yeah, ever since I was a young kid, I did want to be a professional cricketer, and I wrote it down, and I looked at it every morning when I got up.
I like that. Set a dream, mate, and you get it.
Yeah.
Sit, boys. Want to listen to that? Set a dream and go for it. Right. I had about 17 questions from Noah, so I'm just going to pick one of them. So we've gone for. So let's go with this. And what does a typical day look like for Rob Jones? Let's go. Let's say middle of the season. What's a normal day look like?
Yeah, good question. I think 4-day game. We'll go on a 4-day game. I'll get up at 7, get to the ground. Breakfast will be there, which is really, really nice. Very, very lucky to have that. I think get into the nets, have 15 minutes in the nets, chill out, go and have a brew after the net session. Team time's normally 10:15. Warm up, take 20 minutes to a half an hour of slip catching. I think that's really important. And then 11 o'clock start. And then obviously 11 till 1, you have your lunch. Whether you're fielding or batting, you can be, if you're batting, you might be waiting to bat, or you might be reading the paper, right? You might be out. It just depends. There's a lot of crosswords that are flying around. There's things to entertain yourself while you're waiting. If you're fielding, obviously you're out in the field and you're just waiting to come in for lunch. Afternoon session, same thing. They can be really, really long days. They can be, because you're up at 7 and you don't get home till 8 sometimes, just with food and recovery after the day's play. So I think obviously afternoon session, then tea, then obviously the evening session, and then obviously have some food after the game, have a shower, and then you get home. You've got to obviously drive home and stuff. So yeah, like I say, it can be really, really long days at a 4-day game. That's why you say you've got to keep yourself mentally fresh all the time, and try and keep yourself occupied, and not think cricket every minute of the day, because it will literally drive you insane. Yeah. It will wear you down if you're constantly focused for the whole 12-13 hours that you're at the ground. So
ability to switch off.
Yeah, just the ability to try and switch off, whether you do a crossword, or whether you sit and read the paper, or whether you listen to some music. I think that ability to switch off when you're playing a long format of the game is really important. So yeah,
so
pretty much
one for me that I've just picked up what you're saying before we go into our last couple is that recovery. So what does a recovery look like for a 4-day game? How does that? Is it each to their own? Is it team stuff?
Yeah, it's very individual, I think, because a lot of people have families. A lot of the older fellas obviously have families. They need to get off. I think for me, it is rest. It's taking your mind away from cricket. Whether I love my walking, love my hiking, so it's whether taking myself off hiking or getting on my bike. I think just that recovery, you don't have to go hammer and tong, because you're not smashing yourself during the season. It's just about ticking over. So, but yeah, good food, good rest, plenty of sleep, and stress of all the little mundane things that you don't want to do, as in getting good rest and eating healthy foods. And like you say, it can be quite tedious at times, because sometimes you do want a McDonald's, but it's like, at the end of the day, is it best for my recovery? So, but like I say, I think the ability to mentally recover is more important, because your body will naturally do that anyway. But to get your mind right and get your mind recovered is more important for me. And I would stress that if you're feeling like you've had a long couple of days playing sport, take yourself away completely from it and just do, whether you want to go on your BMX or whether you want to go scooting, or I don't know, whatever it is. I would take yourself away from it. And like I say, I love hiking, so that really, for me, when I'm in the hills, I think it's just me and the hills, and me and the peaks, and I don't think anyone can touch me there. And I'm not thinking about playing cricket. I'm thinking about one foot in front of the other, and I'm thinking about the scenery. So that really does make a massive difference.
Great message, that, mate. I mean, like, it's so important that we very much think about cricket all the time, but the ability to try and switch off is massive. I think that's one we can all learn as we get a little bit older, especially those that are 14, 15, 16 on here now, about to start playing senior cricket more. It's not the be all and end all, and have the ability to try and switch off is quite an important thing. Right, mate. Last couple from Alex Turnbull. Where are you? Let me see you. There you are, mate. Go on. What's yours, bud?
What is the thing you focus on the most when you're facing a fast, challenging bowler?
Question.
That's a really good question. Right, okay. I think more. For me, it's obviously about your head, isn't it? It's about getting in the right position to play the ball. I think is really, really crucial. I'm trying to just describe what I'm thinking. I'm trying to reenact what I'm actually thinking when I'm facing a fast bowler. Yeah, I think it takes a lot of courage. Okay, I'll start again. It takes a lot of courage to face a fast bowler. That is my first point that I would say to you. It takes a lot of courage to face a fast bowler. So if you feel like you are frightened, or you feel like you are scared, or you feel like you doubt yourself, that is completely, absolutely normal. That is what the best players in the world will go through. They just manage it differently. They manage it better than any of us lot. So you're talking your Joe Roots, you're talking Steve Smiths, Kohlis. They just manage dealing with pace a lot better than what a lot of cricketers do. So they still feel the same emotions as what we would do if we were facing a fast bowler. But I would encourage you to get in line with it as much as you can, whether that's your head position, so you've got full vision on the ball, whether it's coming down and when it's coming down. If they bowl short at you, just keep your eye on it as much as you can, whether you duck or sway or you play it. I think your head is crucial to when you're playing a fast bowler. That will give you the best possible chance to hit the ball. I think your head controls your balance, and when you're balanced, you've got the best chance of hitting the ball as well. So, but more mentally, I would just stand up, front up. I know they speak about being like a man. I know it's quite cliche, but just show a lot of courage, show a lot of fight, and like you say, them emotions that it is a scary thing that you've got someone bowling fast at you. Everyone goes through having them emotions. Just try and calm yourself down, try and breathe, try and relax as much as you can, and just watch the ball as hard as you can, because that will give you the best chance of playing the ball. I don't know if you took anything out of my rambled on or gone round in circles there, but
no, class that, mate. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's nice. Other than just watch the ball, is how that process is. Yeah, you're right. You have a bit of courage.
I personally quite don't watch the ball because I find it quite distracting with all the movements. So I watch an area when the bowler's bowling and then react accordingly to what length I think the ball has been bowled at, or if I'm going to play a shot, if I'm going to leave it. I just find it very difficult to actually pinpoint the ball. I feel like if I watch an area, then focus me more a little bit, I think.
Nice. Right, we've got one more, which is from Jacob Kelting. So where are you, Jacob?
England are starting soon. You best be quick.
I know.
I'm surprised all you rugby lot want to go.
Exactly. Go on, Jacob. You got it?
Yeah.
There you go. Go on.
What made you specialise in leg break bowling?
Oh, great question. That's a really good question. I was in the backs with my dad, and I accidentally bowled a leg break bowl. And I have obviously changed myself into a bit more of a batter, but growing up, I was a leg spinner. I actually bowled a leg spinner at my dad in the backs. We used to have an alleyway that we called the backs at home, and I think it spun quite a bit. And he said, "Right, you're going to bowl leggies from now on." And ever since that happened, I bowled leggies. Obviously, I struggled with my leggies through my teens. I didn't have much confidence. I really struggled. Something came over me that I couldn't control. I obviously turned myself into a batter. And I'm actually just starting to bowl a bit more with a little bit more control with my leggies at the moment, which I'm really happy with. So I've worked hard at it over the last 12 months. So hopefully it comes back a little bit. But yeah, it was just in the back garden, or the backs with my dad, and I bowled a leg spinner, and it went from there, really.
Normally Googlies, aren't they? Just right on Google.
Yeah, because I can land them. I can't long a leggy.
Right.
I can't land
last
a
one.
leggy.
Nigel wants to pip in, so here we go.
Oh, right.
And then we're done.
It's a surprise.
Chairman.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. And look, firstly, I'd just like to thank Rob. It's lovely to see you as always. And loving the headgear, Rob. That's a nice look,
Oh,
I
yeah.
must say. But no, thank you very much for joining. And it's also lovely to see so many young faces on the screen. So thanks to everybody joining. You mentioned rugby. A little fact, as we're all about to watch it, hopefully in half an hour, but there is someone, an ex-Toft player, making their international debut today for Scotland. Cameron Redpath. For those of you who don't know, his parents live in Knutsford, and many years ago, when we were struggling to get a third 11 side out, he made his debut. So we have another international making his debut today in a different sport, which is just fantastic. So I'm sure he will be having the same type of emotions that Rob has as a professional sportsman, albeit in rugby. I guess, Rob, the one question I've got, and just maybe a short answer, is over the years, you'll have had lots of advice from lots of different people. But if you look back, what's the one piece of advice that stuck with you through the years?
Great question, Nige. Oh God. I think I can't stress enough the enjoyment factor of it. I really can't stress enough, and I've lost over the last 18 months. I think, or especially last year, I lost that a little bit, and I put too much pressure on myself, and it became quite tough for me. So I think when people say to you, just enjoy it, it is the simplest thing you can say, and it might be quite cliche, but I think it hits home the most. And I think it's really important for young people to enjoy it and go out there and try and not get wrapped up too much in the pressures of playing sport. I think the more you do it with a smile on your face, the more enjoyment you get out of it, and the better and the easier the game becomes. I think, like you say, the best players in the world, they're all different, but they enjoy their craft. They enjoy doing what they do. And like that Cameron Redpath, he probably absolutely loves playing rugby. He's done it all his life and he enjoys it as much. Like, I think that the one thing I know people say to you, just enjoy it. But I can't stress enough how much that actually resonates with professional sport, because it is tough. It can be quite lonely, and you can be in a dark place at times. But I think, that enjoying the success once you've done well and remembering them, even when it isn't as much as, and I think, like, leading on to that, I think being consistent boils down to that as well. I think if you can be consistent with your emotions, your state, your character, I think that is more important as well, because you're not yo-yoing, you're not up and down in the dumps, and then you're not up sky high. I think if you have a bad day or a good day, you are consistent. And I think enjoying your cricket or your sport as much as you can, I think that is the biggest thing for me.
And I think that's a brilliant answer. And actually, just coming back to Cameron, sort of fortunate, a really good example. He's now enjoying he moved from Sale to Bath. He's been enjoying his rugby so much more, and as a result, he's played better. And guess what? He's making his debut today. And it all comes down to enjoying it. So I would concur with that. I think just enjoy what you do. And by the way, whether that's cricket or whatever, just try and enjoy it with a smile on your face, and you'll have a great time. But thanks, Jimmy, and thanks to you, Rob, as well, for sparing the time and everything else this afternoon. It is much appreciated.
No worries.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just echo what Nige says, Rob. Really appreciate it. Hopefully everyone's enjoyed that. So if everyone just wants to say big thanks to Rob, if you want to unmute yourself and scream a thank you, whatever you want to do.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
Oh,
thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Cheers, Jonesy, mate.
Cheers.
See you soon.
Right.
Bye.
I'll see you soon, mate. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.